Hello students, welcome to Inspire EDUCARE. In today's video, we will continue with the lesson Basics of C. In today's video, we will learn about what a compiler is and the difference between compiler and interpreter. So, whenever you write a program, you need it to run somewhere, right? But how does the code that you wrote gets converted into something the machine can understand? That's where a compiler comes in. A compiler takes the whole source code of your program and converts it into machine language that can be understood by the CPU, thus can be run later on. The compiler is often compared to an interpreter, but those two are very different and perform tasks very differently. So, let's see what the differences are in the next slide. Here's a chart of their differences. Let's go through its point one by one. Okay, in comparison, for input, the compiler takes the entire program at a time. It means that the entire program you write is worked upon at the same time. While in the case of interpreter, it takes just a single line of code or instruction at a time. Output. Compiler generates intermediate object code, while interpreter does not produce any intermediate object code. What is an object code? Object code is a file that is created whenever a program is compiled that gives the CPU an instruction to how to run the program. It is written in machine language, so it's not something we need to study or understand a lot. Working mechanism. In compiler, the compilation is done before execution. So before the program is run, everything is compiled beforehand. So if there are any errors, they'll show up in the beginning. While in interpreter, compilation and execution take place simultaneously. For example, it will show a line, compile it, and execute it, and then move on to the second line. Speed. Compilers are comparatively faster than interpreters. I guess this is a given, considering that it needs to compile and execute one by one. Memory. Compiler needs more memory because it is creating an object code, while in the case of interpreters, it's not creating anything. So that's why interpreter requires less memory. Errors. Compiler shows all the errors after compiling in the end. Alright, so all of the errors show up at the same time, while interpreter shows errors one by one, line by line. Error detection. It is difficult in compiler because it does not show you the main issue where the things went wrong. While in the case of interpreters, since it is showing us errors line by line, we can check exactly where the issue is. And these are the programming languages that use compiler, and these are the programming languages that use interpreters. That ends today's lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.